My name is Penny Wyatt, and I am the Director of Family Programs here at Tulane, and I'd like to welcome all of you to our family webinar, Alcohol and Drugs, Responsibility, Wellbeing, and Recovery. So this is part of our series that we call Tulane Talks. They're a series of topics that we hope will prompt conversations between our families and their students before students arrive here at Tulane. So this is an important topic. We've got several people here who will talk to you this evening, and then we will take questions at the end. So I'm going to turn things over to one of our panelists, and that's Tyner.
Hi, I'm Tyner. I'm the Assistant Dean of Students. Welcome to Tulane. We're so excited that you're now part of our Tulane family, and we look forward to welcoming you on campus in August. We're offering tonight's webinar in order to provide you with some essential information so that you and your student can have important conversations this summer and moving forward about alcohol and other drugs. We hope these family conversations can be used to set your student up for success as they arrive at Tulane in August. One of our main goals for our students is for them to be safe and healthy so they can focus on their studies and have a really great and positive college experience. During my 11 and a half years here at Tulane, I've seen how problems with alcohol and other drugs can affect students' lives. Misuse and abuse of alcohol and other drugs can negatively impact our students' safety, health and well-being, their academic progress, and their relationships with friends and family members. Alcohol and drug use are significant issues on all college campuses across the country. Here at Tulane, this can be compounded by the culture of New Orleans. We like to celebrate, whether it's Mardi Gras, Jazz Fest, Halloween, a Saturday. There's a party for everything and a festival for everything. So while this is what we love about our city, it can also create some challenges, distractions, and some other risks. Tonight, our panelists will discuss our expectations around our students' use of alcohol and other drugs, the many ways in which we educate our students on these topics so that they can make safe, responsible, and healthy choices, as well as the robust resources and support that we provide our students who are in recovery or are interested in learning more about recovery or being sober. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Zach Hunt.
All right. Hi, I am Zach Hunt. I am the representative from the Well. The Well is a portion of campus health. We offer many student health services. With drugs and alcohol, some of the services we offer and events we offer multiple educational seminars, workshops, tabling throughout the semester. You can see that Mardi Gras survival kit. That's where we do, again, alcohol and drug education, as well as preparation guides for them. Things like staying hydrated throughout the holiday, things like that, study breaks, offering mental health benefits. We also do social media campaigns. And you can see up in the corner, there's another event, a campaign and a workshop that we do called Hangover Helper. Again, that's more of a hydration, alcohol education workshop and tabling that we do. We also have, you can see in the middle, a Tulane University wellness map that offers sites for everything from napping to menstrual supplies to sexual health needs. All right.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is Margaret Martin, and I'm the Director of Student Conduct for the university. I remember when I was an incoming freshman at Tulane being really excited to join the community, whether it be in the dorms or on campus. Moving to New Orleans is a really exciting opportunity. I speak from experience. I did both undergraduate and law school here at Tulane. I'm from California originally. I remember my parents having this conversation with me before I enrolled my freshman year. So I'd strongly encourage you to talk with your students about what it means to be a Tulane student and what that looks like as far as their responsibilities go. Our philosophy when it comes to the Code of Student Conduct and the Office of Student Conduct at Tulane is we recognize that your students are coming to Tulane to learn, and we expect them to make mistakes along the way. And conduct at Tulane is an educational opportunity for students to continue to learn about their decision-making, responsibility, and things that we can do to improve to make sure that Tulane's a healthy, safe community for all of our affiliates, whether they're students, faculty, or staff. So the Student Code of Conduct at Tulane oversees all student behavior, whether that's how we engage with each other on social media in kindness or things like alcohol and drugs. So I really strongly encourage you to take some time with your student this summer and review that Code of Conduct. When your student enrolls at Tulane University, they are agreeing to abide by that Code of Conduct. If there is a policy violation during their time as a student, they will be subjected to the Code of Conduct and meetings with my office to ensure that their behavior can get back in line with our expectations at Tulane. Additionally, if your student's going to be living on campus with us, the Housing and Residence Life Office does produce what's called a Community Standards Living Guide, and they're also going to be subjected to that. So when we're living in the dorms, how we engage with alcohol and drugs and other usages is really important. So take some time, review those policies, and understand what it means to be a Tulane student and what Tulane's expectations are of your student. If there are violations of alcohol or drug policies, they will be coming through my office. I know that's not what people want to hear right now. You're probably thinking my student won't experience that, but we really want our students to be familiar and aware of what they're engaging with at Tulane and what they're agreeing to when they enroll with the university. The Office of Student Conduct does have an amnesty policy if there is an emergency around alcohol or other drugs, and students do have emergency medical services readily available to them. If emergency medical services are required to be called, there will be some amnesty conversations with my office. However, students may still have other consequences, more educational rather than sanctioning. So please, please, please take some time with your student, understand what Tulane's expectations are for alcohol and drugs and other usages so that you know when your student comes to Tulane what the expectations are, and if there is a violation of policy, what those policies and procedures look like from the Office of Student Conduct. Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Margaret. Good evening, everybody. My name is Jacob Goldberg. I'm a licensed clinical social worker and a licensed addictions counselor. I'm the director of the Tulane Recovery Community. First, wanted to say thank you for being here this evening and taking the time to hear from us and learn and engage. And I'd also want to reemphasize some of the things that Catherine, Margaret, and Zach have shared, such as having some conversations and sitting down and talking with your student about what the expectations and roles of being in New Orleans and being a good steward of the university and following our code of conduct, and particularly when it comes to substance use, alcohol consumption, and any other substances. But to talk a little bit about my area, the recovery community is really support students, as Catherine shared, who self-identify as being in some form of recovery. Now, that could be an abstinence-based recovery. It could be just a curiosity into exploring, limiting some problematic behaviors for them. We do that in a number of different ways. We have ongoing peer support groups that happen weekly. We have a dedicated recovery community center. It's very close to campus. Really, the backyard backs up to Monroe Hall, which is a freshman dorm. But it's a wonderful space, and it's a substance-free space for students to drop in, to be able to commune with other students, like a study space. It's also a space for those peer support meetings and some natural community building and networking opportunities to still experience the college life and maybe without all the substance involved. Some of the things we do in addition to giving support to students through peer support meetings, I'm available for individual support. We also have student volunteers that are peer support, really fulfill a peer support role and can meet with other students individually. We try to do some sort of scheduled monthly activities that that center around community building. Particularly, we do trips and other sorts of opportunities for community building and support during possible high-risk times. We talked about a couple of those earlier, but Mardi Gras and Halloween and any type of large events that happen in the city, sometimes it could be great even for students who have some established recovery support to be able to go do something, get out of the space. So we really lean into whatever the students want to do. Another exciting growth item for us in the recovery community is this fall we're offering recovery housing for the first time. We may have a couple more beds available. If anybody's still interested in that, you can reach out to me. My email will be provided in some slide at some point. But yeah, we're excited to be here and support our students in their journey and their progress. I'm also available for any support, offline conversations for families. If you have any concerns for your student or just want to process and talk, I'm happy to speak individually to you guys. Yeah, I think Penny may talk a little bit more about some of our areas and particularly some of the specifics that we have. And this is just supposed to be a broad overview of opportunities to engage with us. And with that, I'll pass it over to Penny.
So I find that when we have these webinars in the summer for family members, oftentimes it can they can feel like they need to be the manager of this information for their student. But we want to reassure you that your student is already being exposed to a lot of this content over the summer before they even arrive at Tulane. So, and then that goes through all kinds of activities and messaging that they will receive when they arrive and when they're here living with us. So we don't want you to feel like you have to be the one who transfers this information you're getting this evening to them. They'll get lots of follow-up about this. We would like you to have that conversation that we've talked about and make sure that you're in sync as a family about what the expectations are. But we want you to just see from this list. I'm not going to read everything here, but I want you to kind of see how this is organized. And you'll be able to look into this more carefully when we send you the slides. But you can see that students learn more from before they get here. They have online education modules about alcohol and other drugs that they will get this month. So that's part of their preparation before they even arrive. During their orientation program, which is branded as Hullabaloo Hello, which starts from move-in to September 1st, they'll do things like, even though we want them to have read the Code of Student Conduct before they arrive, it'll be mentioned in their first floor meeting. They also have a peer educator-led workshop on the basics of alcohol and other drugs and how they can make good choices and how they can help a friend who might have had too much to drink. And then you'll see this next section is a list of the university departments that have some role in assisting students in these areas. And so they each do different things, and then they all collaborate a lot. And so the people you've met this evening collaborate in different ways, as well as manage their own areas and programs and processes. There are services, there's outreach, and there's signature programs that students will be exposed to all throughout the year. And so you'll see, a big list of these. And so it ranges from, the health course that's online to things like peer educator-led workshops, to those students who are also doing tabling at the Live Well hut at high-risk times to give information and resources. We even address these topics in a publication that is called the Stall Street Journal that Campus Health does, where they post these things with resources and infographics and articles that go on the back of the bathroom stall doors. So it's almost like anywhere a student goes, they'll see information about this. And then sometimes professors will even invite those peer health educators into their class to give a presentation. Or it might be something even more specific, like Jacob talked about, such as an alternative spring break that takes students away during these times that might be sort of high risk, and gives them a different kind of activity to engage in and have that support together while still having a fun college experience. So there's all of these different kinds of ways that this area is addressed, and students are supported in their growth, their decision making, and just their lives as they are managing their life here at Tulane. And then we also, in addition to all of these wonderful full-time staff members that you've met tonight, there are ways for students to get involved, to also have a role in this kind of education. And so it comes through the first year seminars that the students have, where they have a peer mentor for that first semester seminar, to the training that resident advisors get, the students who live on the different residence hall floors and are there to support students and be another sort of arm of the housing office throughout the residence halls. And then our really special peer health educators, who are called the TUFs, the Tulane University Peer Health Educators. So you'll see those, the students will hear about those different elements and learn about those as the year goes on. And if you stay in touch with the family newsletter, there'll be times throughout the year when I'll highlight different programs, different signature events, and different resources among all of those. So we just want you to be aware of sort of the wraparound of support that happens and the different ways that things are organized here. So at this point, we want to invite you to submit questions for any of our panelists. So if you'll give some thought to that and let us know if you have any questions about anything that they've mentioned, or if there's something that hasn't been mentioned, then we'll try to answer as many of those as we can this evening. And if there's something we don't get to tonight, then we'll try to address that in the follow-up messages that we'll send you by email. So now's your chance to ask a question. Or if there's a panelist who's thought of something you didn't mention before that you would like to follow up on or give a little bit more detail for, you're welcome to add some more comments here. So one question is, I haven't heard anything about fentanyl. Do you have education around that or prevention? Do you have Narcan available? So who would like to take that question?
Go ahead.
I was going to say, we've done Narcan distribution, and there are quite a few locations around campus where students can easily pick up Narcan as well as fentanyl strips. Those usually go fairly quickly when we do offer them. And we also have a vending machine that also offers both Narcan and fentanyl strips readily available in the student center. As for education, that's definitely been something that we've incorporated more in our social media campaigns and in our just social media post awareness of that. On all of our screens around campus, you will see posts about that and about education. And we've done one of our, I guess, clips or reels for social media. I actually had the most popular reel that we did was one on Narcan last year.
I would also add, Zach's correct. We have offices around campus where you can pick up Narcan and fentanyl strips. I have them in my office. We have them in our waiting room, reception area. Also, TEMS, which is our Tulane Emergency Management Services, which is a student-run organization. They will also go out and do Narcan training for different student groups and orgs.
Yeah,
Another
thanks, Kat.
question. Oh,
I'm sorry,
that's
Penny.
okay.
I was
Go
just
ahead.
gonna add about the training opportunities, and just for a point of clarification, those are fentanyl testing strips, not fentanyl strips. So
All
we're
right,
not,
yes.
Yes.
I do that all the time.
So regarding the Narcan, do the students keep it on hand versus hitting the vending machine or these other distribution points when they need it? What's your sense of that?
Yeah, this is a more of a national issue that's coming up on college campuses. So this is kind of we're working with we have to work within the context of some of our Louisiana legislature. At one point, it wasn't until last year that fentanyl testing strips and even distributing Narcan over the counter, there was some barriers in place from the state legally being able to do so. To answer the question, that's a really kind of individualized question. I personally always support people in carrying Narcan. And I think that the more distribution, the better. We in the city of New Orleans, it's somewhat of an issue, somewhat with supply. So we're conscious of being able to support our community and being able to have these preventative measures. But we are looking at more global distributions. We do have, like was already shared, we have opportunities on campus where you can pick up Narcan, and there's training opportunities to be able to give Narcan. And then we also have vending machines throughout campus as well. So, but I certainly always encourage people to have Narcan, keep them on them anywhere possible. I don't know, Catherine, if you wanted to add to that.
No, I agree. I think, students that pick it up from my office just say they like to have it on hand just in case. So if they can have it in their, back pocket or their bag, I think it's great to have it.
So another question is, do you have any statistics about fentanyl presence on campus? Does anybody have anything to share in that regard?
I don't have any statistics. No, I don't know if anybody else does.
Unfortunately, not at this time.
Another question is, are there outpatient programs for students? Do they need school insurance to utilize an outpatient program?
Kat, you want that, or you want me?
Sure. As far as like structured outpatient programs for substance abuse or mental health or co-occurring disorders, we don't have any on campus, but our Office of Case Management and Victim Support Services, as well as our counseling center, refer out all the time. So when we're working with students who needs a higher level of care, then they can receive just through the counseling center or through the recovery community. We work with students and their families to get them set up with the appropriate care in the community based on their health insurance. So whether it's the school health insurance, which is TSHIP, or whether it's Blue Cross or Aetna, we work with you on finding the right program that accepts your insurance.
And then another question is, may my student bring his own Narcan to campus? He's coming from North Carolina. Do any of you have an answer for that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, they can bring it. Sorry.
Okay.
Not yes, we have the answer. Yes, they can bring it.
So we've still got some time for more questions. If anybody has a follow-up question or you need a clarification on anything, now's your time. We want you to know that this information will be archived on the Family Programs website. So that's families.tulane.edu. And then you just look for the communications section and you'll find the webinars and tutorials archive. For all of you who registered, we will send this to you. But just know for the future that all of our webinars are archived that way, so you can get that information. And we always welcome your feedback. And so if you have comments about this webinar topic that you'd like to share, you can email families@tulane.edu. If you have questions for any of the panelists, you could send those to families@tulane.edu and I'll forward it on to them. When you do receive the follow-up email, you'll have the contact information for these panelists in case you want to reach out to them directly. But if you have any feedback you want to give us this evening, if you want to type that into the Q&A before we leave, or send it to us at families@tulane.edu, we welcome that. And we are always open to new suggestions for topics to cover, so you can also send those to us. So I think that if there are no additional questions, I'll close now. Just know that this is the beginning of a conversation with us about these kinds of topics, and we hope that it'll be the beginning of a conversation that you have with your student. And one of the things that's really great that we have is that our, I'm sorry, let me get back to that slide. So our campus health division has created a Tulane parent guide for talking with your student about alcohol. So it's a handbook that'll guide you through some of these scenarios and things for them to think about, the opportunities that they might have, the negative consequences that can be associated with binge drinking, for example. And so we'll give you the link to that. And that's a great thing for you to review first and then use that as a guide for this conversation that you would have with your student. So I think if you look at the student code of conduct and you look at this parent guide, that'll be a great place to kind of start to have that family conversation. So look for that in your email box. We'll send you a follow-up message tomorrow. And then I just want to remind you that we have some other webinars coming up this month. And so we still have a few more. One next week on support for first generation students. And then the last in our Tulane Talks series on Monday, the 15th, that is about academics, opportunities, integrity, and support. So another thing for you to just learn about so that you can have a conversation to get on the same page with your student, kind of share what your hopes are for them, talk about their values, how they're going to approach this when they become, they're here with us at Tulane. So we will see you all in just a few brief weeks in mid-August for a move-in. So we thank you again for your time and for joining us and caring to join this webinar topic tonight. And I want to thank all of our panelists for their time and expertise as well. And just say, have a good evening, everyone. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thanks, y'all.